We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mystic Sisters, also known as the Wicked Mystic Sisters. I'm
Yes,
here with
apologies.
I'm here with Ona from Ona's Tarot. I'm Dr. Vicky from the Seeds of Transformation. Many of you are familiar with us, and we normally do this on Fridays. And Ona had to work um, because someone had to and so we're doing it on Saturday night. So I hope your Saturday night is going well. And how is your Saturday going, Ona?
Really good, really interesting. There's a rainbow behind me. I've been trying to track when this is going to happen because it's been such a weird weather day, like just rain and sun. And it finally just popped up and then it rained again and now it's behind me. I think it's in here. I think it's in here.
It's back there, huh?
It's really wild. Those it's really kind of a rare moment to have that exposure.
I,
Be available
this,
for it, you
yeah,
know.
this year has been a magical year for me, really. And one of the reasons was there was this rainbow that we got to like live under for like an hour one day because we were just on the edge. We were always just on the edge of the storm. And of course, without a storm, you can't have a rainbow. So,
Yeah.
considering all the storms we've been in, I think we deserve any number of rainbows.
It requires the water for a certain amount of reflection too.
Yes,
It's
yes,
got to it the closer to the water, the brighter I think it is because the water offers more reflection,
extra, 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 as we
right?
would.
What a day to go fishing in the lake. Oh my God, this would be like incredible. What an incredible day. So I worked last night. I slept for a couple hours on the couch with the dog. And it's a very interesting vibe in the city. If you guys know, I'm from Chicago, and we're hosting the DNC that's starting on Monday.
Yes, but they've been in Chicago for probably 2 months by now, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
not the stars of the show, but the show certainly has been.
and they've been enforcing what, or they've been telling us what they're going to enforce, and now they're enforcing it. So like parking things and all these shows that are here, like Daily Show, Stephen Colbert, who are Kimmel. I don't even know who's here anymore, right? They to get tickets, they required a 1 week filter time. So they were sort of pre-screened. So and
Oh,
you
good. Well,
cannot transfer them. You can't. It's a really, really buttoned down security. So it's a very guarded feeling,
yeah, yeah.
big time,
Well, I think it's a guarded time. I mean, I'm sure the people in Milwaukee were terrified.
all day long. Oh, all day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was they had tried the attempt, the assassination attempt before. So they were probably nervous to begin with, and then that happened, and then they were probably, if anybody's from Milwaukee, you could let us know. But hello, everybody.
Yes. Hi,
Nice to see
guys.
everybody.
Hi. Droney asked if I was going to do any coverage. I'm going to do as much as I can to protect and make sure that I'm safe,
You're safe,
protect my
and that you're,
safety,
yeah,
and protect the safety of my job and my patients, my staff, my everything, my
yeah.
neighborhood, my neighbors, my. So I'm going to do the best I can to definitely put together some, but it is a very guarded feeling. I'm not going to lie about that.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
Well, well, Saturn is pretty active right now, so and the full moon that happens at the first day. There's a lot of Saturn activity. There's Saturn on Venus. There's Saturn on Jupiter. It's and in a way, I'm kind of glad because you really don't want to see anything happen. You know what I mean? You don't really want to see anything happen.
No. No. And I think, people are upset about some of these protocols and things, but if we follow the protocols, if we, do the things that we're supposed to do and follow these rules, then honestly, we will be safe. It's when you deviate from the structured security that you start to get in trouble. So I'm just going to follow the rules, right? I'm going to read the policy, and that's what I'm going to do. So we'll see. I feel, like there's definitely, with the full moon being on our moon, and like what, kissing all up on Kamala, right? On
Yeah.
her Venus. Okay. There's like a squaring Uranus reflecting on the history. So, bringing up that energy of the history of the DNC.
Well, it's, and it's Uranus. It's also Eris. Eris is sort of in the picture there as well.
Yeah.
She's at like 25 of Aries. So she's, although it's for the full moon, it's not particularly a difficult aspect. It's a sextile and a trine. But the trine energy is a flow. And
Mhm.
what I think could happen here is you can utilize that energy of change to change the direction that we've gone. You know what I mean? Like it's an
Yeah.
opportunity, I think, to change direction for maybe the Democratic Party. I mean, it's been neoliberal now for how long? Probably since the Clintons. And now, maybe it's time to move in a more progressive direction. Certainly is a direction that most people who don't know that there's a name for it want to go.
Yeah.
Like most people like the progressive ideas, but once you put progressive and say, "Oh, that's a progressive idea," people are like, "Oh, I'm not a progressive." It's like the old. Um, for a while there, I remember, you'd say, talking about women's rights, they'd say, "Well, I believe in women's rights, but I'm not a feminist." Like feminist was a dirty word. Like what's wrong
Yeah.
with people? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that.
It has, yeah, it's developed a crusty edge. The word, for sure. I'm going to get the dog because he's looking at me like he's looking for a new dog mom right now.
Oh dear. Well, we have to bring the boy on, right? I mean, we
like,
think people come to see us, but we know the
like
truth.
Eddie, I know. And I see Cindy in there. When your dogs want something, they bring it to you, right? Maybe their empty dog bowl, maybe their toy, a sock, underwear, whatever, bra. When he wants something, he stays there until you go to him.
Yeah. Yeah, my Gretchen
That's
was like that too.
That's
That's
good.
the alpha dog. That's what that is. You serve them. They do not serve you. Hi, Paula. Hi, Cindy. Drone, AOC may have a role in the convention. I hope so. I mean, she really is the
Ooh.
face of the young progressives. She's got
Oh, hey girl. Hey AOC, if you're watching, I have a room.
Do you know
Girl, you
she
can
has a
stay there.
Frenchie? She
Oh,
has a Frenchie. Uh-oh.
he doesn't need to know that right now. We'll let him know later. And yeah, honestly, this I can rent
Yeah.
up you can rent out my space.
Yes, T squared to Uranus, the full moon, T squared to Uranus. Yeah.
You see this?
Yeah. He's having a moment. He'll
He's
be okay.
having a moment, and this is actually good for anybody who's ever considering one of these dogs, that they have these secondary changes that make it harder to breathe, and that's why he can only go outside in a certain temperature, and he has to watch because it's all like folds in there and it's hard. So yeah, he had him open. He's good now. He's good now.
Do you some Judith asks if she thinks that there'll be unrest at the DNC in Chicago. I think so. I think so. I guess um I I think that you can't silence people. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
to
I'll
let
let you know.
people's voices sort of be heard, but not to the point where it's disruptive. But with Uranus, squaring the full moon, I don't know if they're going to be able to. There's
Yeah,
we're 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 hoping for control in uncontrollable times. So, but what I would say is, the best thing that we can do is people are just sort of like watching from the sidelines is to just visualize the what you want to see, visualize it being fun, and it is a time for people to say how they feel and have their voices heard and all this other stuff.
yeah.
It's not about like
What do you say, Vicky, that PBS might be the best sort of neutral if you want to watch it without, because even our local news channels tend to kind of lean, the ones I like, I could recommend like local news coverage that might be, more interesting or just different.
I think for general news coverage, like, ABC, NBC, CNN, I think
Yeah.
PBS probably has the best. But as far as like, I think if I was going to watch it online, I might watch it through um, David Packman. I like him because
Oh, yeah.
he's very like said steady. If it's true, he says it's true. If it's untrue, he says it's untrue.
Yeah.
He's not very emotional. Like
Yeah.
I used loved watching the Young Turks, but
Yeah.
a lot of times Junk is so like mad all the time and ranting. It's like, I'd rather just be somewhere in the middle. I can make up my own
Yeah.
mind about these people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You know what to expect with him. And I don't think he embellishes. Look at this. I don't think he embellishes the truth or anything. I think he is very factual and you know exactly what to expect when you tune in.
Right, right.
If you want to
And
get mad, you could watch the Young Turks.
plus he's in Boston, so we got to give the,
Oh,
Queenstown a shout out to be.
nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Midas touch too. Midas touch. The only problem I have with Midas touch is sometimes they get a little bit too legalese, but they're a bunch of lawyers. So, I mean, that's really what you watch the Midas touch for. Is that I love, I of that sort of genre. I like Glenn Kirshner, and I love Harry Littman. I think he's just funny as all heck because he's just like such a straight laced guy, and every now and again he's drops the S bomb or
yeah, yeah.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Well, I'll get what I get from my perspective and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think everybody's definitely bracing for some kind of an event.
Yeah.
It's historic. It's reflective. It like really teases a lot of chords
Yeah.
out of you, right?
Right.
Do you want us to pull a card? You want to pull a card on that? You've
I
been
thought
doing
I
this.
just do like a quick read on the energy of the DNC. Let's see what the cards say. I'm going to use my hermetic deck. So that's always a powerful one. I like that one.
You do like that one. That one's
I
so
do.
complicated for me. Okay, you go hard. I'll go easy. I go pictures.
You're gonna go. You're gonna
There's
do.
the sun again. You know what's gonna happen. It's rainbows. See, I like when I have some kind of signal from the skies and the earth or an ambulance.
Oh, you always listen. Like when I'm doing readings, and I say something, usually like an ambulance goes by, or the train whistle in the background. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, yeah. But I grew up like
Yes,
that.
watching for the signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching for the signs, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mother would always say if somebody was saying something and somebody sneezed, she'd say, "It's true, it's true."
Yeah. Oh, anything, like anything was related. If a fork dropped, my mom would go, see?
Yeah.
See what?
So, well, they have
See?
a whole that was the whole like Sicilian language thing that they had going on there. All right, so I'm pulling everybody. I'm pulling cards on the DNC, but let's not talk about Republicans. We know what happens when we talk about Republicans. right?
I have a
Different.
horn on. Somebody, oh, Joe said wearing a horn. I have on a horn. I have a horn on. Yep.
Keep the malocchio away, right?
Trust. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I like always watch the back of my head for sure. It's our favorite portal.
Yeah, seriously. So, first card, the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups. So that is happiness, joy, celebration, lots of emotion, lots and lots of emotion.
That's the liquor trucks that are plugging up the every intersection. Okay. Big liquor
Cro-
trucks.
Crossed by the, I don't know if we can see this. Sorry about the you can't really see these.
Mhm.
Crossed by the Queen of Earth, the Queen of Thrones, the Queen of Throne of Earth. So it is the Queen of Pentacles.
Oh,
So
I got some money.
okay, so that's sort of a that's an energy of like, okay, everybody, let's remember what's important here.
Yeah.
Let's remember what's important because the queens always sustain the element, and Earth is very practical.
That's
So how do we
security.
keep it like
Yeah.
emotionally high yet like have our feet on the ground?
Yeah.
That's what that looks like to
It,
me.
and I feel like there's a security piece to it. You know, the Capricorn, that's that part of the pentacles, the stars, police stars. There's a security piece to that,
Yeah.
which I like.
Underneath the sun. That's nice. That's nice. So
I'm
illumination.
so
So it
happy.
is illumination. Things are going to be illuminated. It's a fateful time. The sun is a one card. It's a 19-1. So it's about new beginnings. So I feel like there is this sense of perhaps seeing it for what it is,
Yeah.
a whole new way, a whole new way. In the past, we have the Knight of Pentacles. This is actually one of Tim Walsh's major cards in his numerology. He is.
Oh,
He's the. I mean, if anybody is the Knight of Pentacles, it's him, right? But what this says to me, of course, it could be him because he was, he was chosen before. But this says that they've done a lot of groundwork. There's been a lot of groundwork, a lot of security. This is the security I think that you're feeling here.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
queen and the is the
Everything.
go ahead. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Everything. It's all. I. You know, now that they're starting to disclose that they've been doing this for like 3 years.
Well, I would think you would
They've
have.
been, and you know, like putting this infrastructure in for 3 years.
When they had it in Boston back in, I think it was 2004 or 2000. I think it might have been 2004, but I could be wrong
Mhm.
about that. They were very,
Right?
very strict in
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
In the sky, justice, balance.
You know, that's her.
This is her.
That's her. You know, that's her.
She's a Libra, so she's the star of the show. She's right up top. Okay, so far so good, guys. I don't know. The universe, the endings and beginnings, the world. This is a Saturn card, so things are going to be serious. Yet there is this sense of the end of a an age, so to speak, and the beginning of a new age. That's what that says to me. These are good, Rona.
That,
How
yeah,
it's
I
seen,
get
how it's
spiritual stuff out of that card too, like a spiritual awakening from that deck, I would say.
yeah, yeah, definitely. There's a there's like a eagle up there. You see,
Mhm.
two-headed eagle. That's, the symbol, one eagle looking in the past and one eagle looking to the future. Sort of
Joe,
like sort of like the double-headed god Janus has the head in both directions. So it's looking at it's learning from the past, having a nod to the past, yet really sort of looking to the future. Her motto is we're not going back, so we're not going back.
yeah,
How it's seen from the outside, the Ace of Swords. Now, I would say the outside of the DNC might be the Republicans or the MAGAs, and they might see this as, putting the gauntlet down for law and order because she is going to be the law and order president. So
yeah,
I think that's really what it's got.
yeah.
That and the crowd sizes is what got. All right, Knight of Wands in the domestic situation. So that's not the, it's not the Knight of Swords, so that's good. So the Knight of Wands. This is about like taking your
Not,
show on the road, talking about proselytizing,
yeah.
it's expressing, okay, hopes and fears. The Seven of Pentacles. I think that they haven't done enough. I think that's what that is. That's a fear. And let's see the outcome. We have the Ten of Wands, which is burden and oppression in this deck, but I'll continue. And then Temperance.
Okay.
So this is healing and balance.
That's
So,
Aquarius full moon.
well, this is a Sag.
Oh, that's a Sag card?
It's a Sag card, yeah. But let me see what it has. Capricorn. It actually, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a Merkaba. See the Merkaba there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I
With
like
the
that.
star,
Oh,
right?
I
And
like,
doesn't it look like
yeah.
Kamala a
Yep,
little
yep,
bit?
yep. Mm-hmm.
She does have a Merkaba in her chart. She has two grand trines. She has an air trine and a fire trine. So they make this six-pointed star. And Tim Walls has an earth trine.
Yeah.
So we have fire, air, and earth, and we can feel the water. So we can feel the
Right
water.
here. I'll do one with this deck and see what comes up, because it's been like a lot of readers are looking into this, and because you feel the same kind of thing, you don't want to be surprised, you want to kind of figure out and see sort of what's going on and how you feel about it.
So I think overall, just from this reading, and what I'll do is I'll take a picture of this and I'll put it on the community page. So if everybody wants to see the cards that are connected with this reading, you can. But I think it looks, okay. There are other things we could ask. We might get different cards, but I think
I'm gonna
one
this
right.
is
Go ahead, honey.
this is the first one that came up. It's the five, it would be five of pens or five of air swords. So she's coming in with her hatchet. Don, you in the background. I'm really sorry, but these are the cards that I chose, the Forgotten Ones deck. Okay. Their challenge is Three of Wands. So this is, I notice a lot of fire energy. This is like maybe looking for out for, expanding your horizon kind of thing. Above is Five of Wands. So there's been I think they're having or are going to have some kind of just challenges. I mean, you can't spend that much time together and not start a little infighting, right? There's
Well,
going
I
to
mean,
be,
there's, what they say, the Democrats are a big tent. They've always been a big tent.
yeah,
And, they don't all agree. They don't do the lockstep thing. There'll always be challenges, but ultimately I think, if they come together, we just hope it's not in a circular firing squad like they like to do.
right. Yeah, exactly. In the past, Hermit. So I'm going to take that as having that bank of knowledge and kind of saving for it. Giblets, come here. Come here.
What's the matter? What is happening?
The fire hydrant. Giblets.
What?
He does that when I'm in the shower. So just if you're a neighbor, okay.
Oh,
If I close a door or something.
it sounded like his tail was caught in a fan.
He just screams at me. In the bottom, we have the Knight of Swords, and this has come up a little bit too. There's some kind of, and that's like below you.
Right.
That's what's happened. Like underneath you, there's could be like the whole police thing. Giblets, come here, buddy. Here you go. Come here. I'll get him in a second. Near future. Oh, I like the Nine of. Did you get Nine of Cups?
Yep, that's what we started. Yep.
They might take her on one of those fishing tours. Those tiki bus, they have like boats that are decorated like tiki huts, and they have like drinking things going on. Giblets, come here. Come here. He looked at me and goes, no, right? Like, what's working for you? 8 of Cups. So kind of there's a little bit of kind of your
That feels a little like Joe Biden to me.
leaving your home space, right? Leaving something that's comfortable, not in something that's like, oh my gosh, Chiblets, come here, come here. 7 of Wands, and I think you got that too. 7 of Wands is what's working against you. So this is the sort of like
Yeah,
and
having to defend your territory kind of energy.
that
Like him. Like right now,
right now.
Giblets is being the 7 of Wands. Yep.
Hopes and fears, and this has come up too. This is the Page of Wands. Maybe something spilling out before it's ready to. And outcome, I get the Death card.
Change. Change. There's a big change.
You got the Universe card. I got the Death card. On the bottom, oh my God, I don't even want to look. Justice card.
Yeah. Which one is that?
9 of Swords, 9 of
Nine,
Air.
9 of Swords.
Exhaustion, mental exhaustion. We know it's sometimes we have to we take a nap during the day, right? Because we're tired. Sometimes we lose our religion on the road because we're tired and we're driving in traffic or whatever. Forget.
Are you having a flashback to your last job right now?
It's kind of like that. Like you can put on that for so much, and that is what like mental exhaustion feels like. Like you just want to curl up in a ball in a dark closet for a little bit. So it's going to be, there will be challenges to the mental body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's leave it.
Paul Aziz says Obama spoke in Boston. Yeah, that was his big sort of. So I think it was 2004 because in 2008 he ran. I wonder who's going to speak. Does anybody know? You know, because Obama spoke there. Does
The
anybody have an
Clintons are
idea?
here. The Obamas are here.
But like they always have a new person get up and talk. I wonder who that's going to be. Does anybody in the chat know who that might be? I don't know if they like announce it or not, or if it's like a surprise, right? Because in 2004, Obama did it. And that's when everybody noticed him. So they like to put people out who they want to notice. I
Yeah,
wonder, maybe Josh Shapiro was going to say something. I'm sure he'll be there.
I
I
know.
mean,
I haven't been following it that close that I know who is going to say addresses and who the bands are going to be. That would probably put another whole layer onto, more people pouring in. I really don't know who's going to be there, but I know it's like a big deal. The big deal.
somebody's
So the cards that I'm using it's called the Forgotten Ones. And if you Google it and you see this is the back of the deck, the Forgotten Ones deck. It's a little bit bigger on the hand, but the pictures are awesome. And it is about that. It is about the forgotten people.
which are most of the people.
Which are most of the people, which is a very Aquarian style deck. Right. It's pretty gender neutral. It has 2 justice cards, male and female. Yeah, 2 magician cards, male and female. So I left all of them in because I like that.
So Debbie from It's in the Card says Pete Buttigieg is speaking. He's a great speaker.
He is good.
He's a great speaker. He really is. He's like a ninja.
Yeah.
Like he sent him on all the difficult. But even Walz, I mean, Walz seems to be really holding his own. I'm really looking forward to that, to him going against Vance.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking
What
for.
an embarrassment that guy is. Honest to God, I am not kidding. Remember last time I said like there's something about that square jaw that's presidential that we always kind of like lean into, like that is a presidential look sort of thing. I learned that, when we first colonized this land, pretty much a lot of those guys were related and related again and related again. And somebody in 2014, I think, did a genetic study on the past presidents, and 42 out of 43 had the same genetic
Yeah.
line,
Mm-hmm.
except for like one or two. So interesting, because I'm like, yeah, they kind of all they all follow a pattern, and it's true, they all do. Well,
Well, it helps that for how many presidents have there been? For 45 of the 46, they've been white guys.
right, right.
So we're in a
And
new age.
we are in the new age, and it's good to know that now, as we melt our different tones together like it's supposed to be,
Right.
because nobody really cares, that is going to dissolve that genetic code. You understand, right? So this is good. This is what's
Well,
supposed to happen.
this is the whole idea of, the blending, the blend, it's all we're actually, uniting in that, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So anyone that teaches high school can handle you're right. You're right. I come from a family of teachers, and I haven't had an opportunity to talk to my cousins, because like they were my one cousin who's been a teacher was a teacher for 40 years. She married a teacher, and he was a coach, and he taught high school, and he was a principal, and he was
Wow.
superintendent of schools for a while. So I haven't gotten to talk to them, but I bet you they're thrilled with
Yeah,
her pick. Plus, I'm sure they like Kamala too. That side of my family, the blue
yeah,
side. I have
yeah.
a red side as well. So, like everybody, you have either a
Everybody has a weird side and a non-weird. It's pretty. That's what we landed on this planet to sort of try and figure out, right? Is
Well, I think we're all a little
people.
bit. Hey, I've always been called weird, so weird doesn't bother me in the least.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, it's a good thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's a the word weird comes from the word weird, which is I think WIRD, which is fate, the well of weird. It's like when you do the. Oh, do I have? Say when you do the runes, I should pull a rune on this, right?
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of the well of weird, all right, I'm gonna put some runes on this convention.
Okay. Okay.
How fun is this?
It's intense. I slept for 2 hours today, and I've been up for over a day. It's so like intense around here. And it's really nice to hear every once in a while from some source that they're excited about it, and wow, and what it's doing for the city, and they're happy about it. Most people are scared and prepared.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. So, hi Denise. Reverend Denise is in the house. Reverend Denise.
Nice.
So I picked three runes. Very interesting. The first is the rune of need. Need. Okay.
Okay.
The second one is
Protesters.
um, this is what is this? This is about movement, but it's upside down. So the so and I'll put them all together. And then Perth. which is this is the bag of veered actually. But it's not looking forward, it's looking back. So I think what I know that Joe is going to be there, I think on Monday. And this is the need. This is no movements. Oops, sorry. I got to do this, right? And
Okay.
then this is looking back. No, it's got to be on this side. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to I'm trying to do it backwards and sideways. Um, so I think there's going to be a real I almost feel like there's going to be a wrap up of the old again. This is a theme coming through me, I guess. But and then the real need to do it differently. That's going to be very evident, and it might be evident when Joe speaks. And I love Joe, so I don't think it's. But he may even bring that up in some way,
Yeah.
the necessity for somebody else to take up the sort of the flag and move forward. So that's what the runes say. But it's interesting that the Perth or the bag of veered uh, came up. I knew it would.
Yeah.
I'm like, when's that going to come up?
All right. Well, we'll be all right.
I also, you know what else that says to me? That it's not what's going to happen is not yet written. And so one of the things that we have to remember is as we awaken to these new higher vibrational frequencies, manifestation happens faster,
Yeah.
right? Things that you think will never change, boom, all of a sudden, like how much of that have we experienced this year?
Yeah.
Right? Most of it's been like against, like against what we thought would be a good idea. And then there was, so things are changing. And I think we need to spend the time focusing on the world that we want to see and not worrying about what could happen. You know what I'm saying? Be
Yeah.
prepared. It's not like just, la di da. Nobody does that, right?
Yeah.
Everybody like just sets things up so just in case, but I think the vision has to be a vision for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a good one. It's definitely brighter. It's getting better. The light is shining, right? The end of the tunnel is not a train. So I think it's getting adjusted to that too.
Yeah.
Getting adjusted to thing we don't have to like walk in this mud anymore. What does it feel like when things are, turning in the direction that we voted for?
Yeah, 4 years ago.
I know. I just worry about that whole old crowd downtown somewhere.
Are you talking about the old Democrats? Old crowd
Yes.
Democrats? Okay. I thought there was like an AARP convention or something, or a Fox Silverheads or
No,
something.
all the Clintons and the Obamas and Joe and all those people,
Well, I think we have to respect our elders. They came
Oh
before
yeah,
us, they were and now it's about like just it's a different energy.
yeah. Oh, I'd love to be a bug like on the wall at that after party, right? That
It's
would be
gonna
fun.
be it's gonna be a raucous time. I'm sure there'll be some edibles. Can you hear that? There's like a little.
Is that a cricket?
No, I think it's a catbird. I think it's a catbird.
Oh
They
wow.
come out at later in the night, right before the birds wake you up, and then right before the sun comes down, they all start squawking. But it's like their good night call.
Yeah.
I hope
Well,
it's
ours
good.
are ours are not. We don't have more. The cicada. It's really the crickets. It's a cricket time of year.
Yes, yeah.
The
It's been
cicadas
very.
weren't truly that obnoxious out here. I mean,
We had
they're
a couple of really warm days, and you could hear the cicadas in the trees, or the maybe it wasn't cicadas, maybe it was because I haven't seen one,
yeah,
so I don't know. But it could have just been what is it? The the other things that hop around. The
Grasshoppers.
grasshoppers.
It's yeah,
Hoppy
yeah.
chick.
It's that time of year. It's when they
Right.
start to and that's why the birds are super happy at night, right? They love that stuff.
Somebody wanted to know if Taylor Swift was going to show up. She might be one of the people at the inauguration ball or something, right? Barack Obama had Beyonce, right? At
Yeah.
last,
We
my
aren't
love
ready for,
has
yeah,
come
we're
home.
not staffed for the Taylor Swift, Beyonce kind of thing.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, no, no. I don't think this is going to be like that. I think it's going to be exhausting. I think it's going to be exhausting. There's so if you can find any protest group, anything, if you can make one up, they're marching their way down there right now. Everybody who has, you know, a beef to burn and burnt toast is like on their way down there trying to just, be a part of something too.
Hi, Kathy from California. Yay. Good, glad you could join us, Kathy. All right, let's see. Yes,
Yeah.
Denise says lightning fast changes and manifestation. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'm glad I had my game plan before that all started to happen,
Yeah.
because it's like I would say over and over again, focus on what you want, focus on what you want, focus on what you want. So I was focusing on what I wanted when all the stuff blew up, and I was like, I'm focused on what I want.
Yeah. It's it's a lot of work, but it's definitely what you want is palpable. It's out there.
Yeah.
Look at all this, everything I did since after my mom and cannoli died. And I just had this thing. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. And I had it under a candle and over a candle and, was, had halters around it. This was, I'm going to downsize. I'm going to
Yeah.
stop this overuse of resources. I, you know,
You told me your whole plan. You
yeah,
said, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I was like, and damn, if you didn't do all of it. I'm like, wow, man, she's good. It reminds me of the time for me. I was living in New Jersey. I'd gotten out of chiropractic school in 87. It was about 1988, 89. And I was working for somebody down the Jersey Shore, a very nice chiropractor, but I wanted to do my own thing. And I don't know. I did. New Jersey is a great state. The people who were there are wonderful. So it's not anything there. But I always felt a little bit out of place somehow.
yeah,
Of course, there's a real story behind that. But when I went up to Boston and came up to this area for seminars, I felt a peace and a sense of peace I had never experienced down in the New York metropolitan area. I mean, I grew up right outside of New York City. I mean, I'd look out
yeah,
my bathroom window and there was the World Trade Center. I mean,
yeah,
literally right there. I guess we could have charged a lot for that view, but as it was, that's where I lived. It was always crowd. It's always intense. It's like that. It's like where you live in Chicago. It's that intense city energy. But well, I'd really like to go up to Boston. I'd really go up to Boston. And a friend of mine, I still have the card. She was living in Portland, Oregon at the time, and she got it at one of these, fairs where they make handmade cards. And it says, if you wait for the right moment to do something, you never get there. And
yeah,
I was like, that was it. I decided. And
yeah,
I took my whole life and moved 300 miles north. I opened a practice in a state I knew three people. It was crazy. And
yeah,
there was a point where I was like sort of finally up. I had my practice open. I had a place to live. I was, sort of settled. It took about a year for me to get my feet under
oh,
me.
yeah,
And I remember sitting on the beach in a place called Minot here in Situate. Um, and I was sitting on a rock, and I just thought to myself, how the F did I get here?
yeah.
I must have lost my freaking marbles. You have to kind of lose your mind a little bit, because your mind will tell you all kinds of reasons you can't do it.
Oh, you step away from your mind.
Yeah, you're out of your mind.
You
And,
step
and
away.
literally out of your mind. And then I found myself in a new state with a whole new life. And I was like, holy Toledo, did I just do that? And I feel like, and it's interesting that you bring that story up, I bring that story up, because I feel like that's where the Democratic Party is now. It's
Yeah,
it's a whole new life.
yeah, yeah. And it is like, how did we get here? This was, it, I mean, we know what we're experiencing. Can you imagine what they're experiencing? Kamala, Tim, like everybody that's in this is like, wow, what a spin on the trajectory here in like one day.
Well, I was actually pondering this the last couple of days. And I said it a few times, and it sort of came out of me. You know how some things come out of your mouth and then you think about them
Yeah.
because you're not really sure where that came from. But I feel like, I'm sure Reverend Denise might have something to say about this. It's as if we channel our energy through the chart of the person who's up front, right? So when Barack Obama was running, he also had a Merkaba in his chart.
Yeah.
Okay. Princess Diana Merkaba. Okay. So these are people who, the what was she called? The princess of the Queen of Hearts, the princess of the people, right? Barack
Yeah.
Obama was Hope, and then we had Donald Trump, and we got our energy moved through his chart, and he has the chart of somebody who is wounded,
Yeah.
has a victim complex, right? But also is an awakener. He tests all the boundaries. He's like, I don't believe in the law. He doesn't think the law applies to him.
I
So he's
know this.
constantly pushing against the limitations. And
Yeah.
so in his way, it was a necessary process. And so now we have Kamala again. Now we have Kamala with her Merkaba, which is located, energetically, it's a heart thing.
Hmm.
And the joy and the happiness and the laughter and wanting to take care of families and wanting to take care of children and all of this is very much that heart centered, heart chakra, children oriented. In the tree of life, it's Tippereth, it's beauty, and she's beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's her. So she has the structure in her chart that we as the I think Susan Lynn today said, she's the surfer, but we're the wave.
Hmm.
And so if we just pour our light out, and we do that by just doing what we do every day, but doing it in a hopeful and positive and joyful way, then that just potentiates. And we can overcome all the fear. Of course, we're all terrified. Who the hell likes to I'm not a surfer. I'm like this, right?
I can't. There's no way I could surf a tricycle down the sidewalk. Please, no scooters. Oh my god. No. Yeah, it's an interesting time. It's gonna be an interesting week with the full moon, this moon full on the United States new moon. I mean, there's just things that I would definitely get a piece of paper and a pen
Yeah.
and start writing stuff down.
So Denise wanted to know what was the big shift in the stars in 1989. Well, there was a couple, but the one that pops to mind was the Saturn Neptune conjunction that happens in Capricorn in 1989. And that's when the wall came down.
Tiananmen Square, 89?
Was that 89?
I think it was 89.
Might have been. It
Right
was
around
after the. It was after the.
came in.
After the Bush Tiananmen Square. Yeah.
No, then. Wow. Yeah. So there are a lot. I think there's definitely, I've done this before. And this is how I do it is I try to remember how old I was in 1989. And then I'm like, oh yeah, all these things happen. If I still have that little tiny piece
I know your
in my
memory,
brain,
right?
it's
Your
like,
memory.
oh. Yeah. When was
Well,
1989?
1989 was when I my girlfriend sent me that card. So
There you go.
actually, you know what I did in 1989? This is an interesting story. With my girlfriend who sent me the card, we did a seminar. It was a week-long seminar on the Cape, Cape Cod. I was living in New Jersey. She was living in New Jersey. And it was with Starhawk, Louisa Tish, and Margot Adler, who wrote Drawing Down the Moon. It was like a goddess thing through
Yeah.
Interface. Interface was sort of like a metaphysical sort of that it's not there anymore. But it was like a week long thing with these women who were sort of like the the front of the goddess revolution,
Yeah.
and we did ceremony and we did all kinds. It was such a transformational process for me. And the weird thing is that I ended up living like 5 miles from where that happened. Like I eventually landed where I landed in Massachusetts, and
Wow.
lived for like 11 years, was like 5 miles away from, in a way, where it all began.
Yeah.
It was it
Yeah.
was it was amazing. That's what happened to me in 89. Go ahead, you can.
In 89, I graduated nursing school in 87. So in 89, I think really I was very independent. I had my own place. I had my own like little budget. I was a nurse at Loyola, another a different level one trauma center.
Trauma
So we had
center.
like all this stuff going on. We were the first center to have a heart transplant unit. And it was an initiation to a sisterhood that is lifelong, for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a big.
Can't escape that. Can't escape that morphic thing once you're in.
Well, and back in 89, I think it was Saturn, Neptune were in Capricorn.
AIDS.
Yeah, well, yeah. AIDS was like was the early 80s, right?
Early AIDS.
Yeah. That was a scary time.
Yeah. It was a scary time. Yeah.
Tiananmen Square. Yep, 4/15 to 6/4, 1989. You were right. Tiananmen. Thank you, Paula.
And the October, the earthquake in Oakland.
Yes, that's
And
right.
this is an earthquakey kind of feel. This
Yeah.
is an earthquakey kind of feel too. There are certain things that come up when earthquakes kind of happen, and I don't really say anything because I don't know where it's going to be, and I
Right.
don't know anybody that would listen to me and go buy rice and beans at the store because I said something. They
Well,
happen
I
all
think
the
we should
time.
have rice and beans in the cupboard anyway.
Always. And it's but I think this would be something we might hear of, or it's caused by something else. But we know I sent you that video that the earth is designed to do this in order to stabilize itself,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Just like the human body, if we can mimic it, will settle, stretch, and expel gas when it needs to deflate a little. So that is what the earth does.
Right. Right. Well, we are the earth. You know what I mean? We are the earth. We're not just of the earth.
Mhm.
We have the consciousness of the divine as well. But what's happening to the earth is happening to us. The earth is our body, the atmosphere, the weather is our feelings. And so, people are upset, and rightly so. People don't want to live the way the way we've been living. We realize you don't have to. And I think there's a realization of that. And perhaps just knowing that alone will allow the old ways to dissolve away, and a new way forward, right?
Yeah.
A new
It's
way.
happening. It's just going to take time. And even the smallest steps can be painful sometimes, even when we're aware of them and we know they're going to happen. We're happy, but we're guarded. I'm joyful, but I don't know.
Right.
That's that whole like little chunk of your brain that doubts yourself again, saying, "Oh, gotta be watch, be careful." So try and let
To,
to
to
like
quote
that.
to quote was it Garrett Morris? No, no. To quote was it Garrett Morris or was it Eddie Murphy? The mind is a terrible thing. The mind is a terrible.
Sometimes it can be, and the Aquarius full moon has definitely got that sort of high alpha energy, alpha waves, where you know there's a lot of thought going on, or people at least learning to think on their own and have their own original thoughts and are coming out with different opinions about what they want to see our future look like. So we are going in a really good, I think we're going in a good direction, but it's not easier.
Well, no,
Not
no.
easier.
But then anything worth having, has it ever been easy? I don't. You know what? If it's too easy, I don't trust it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
no, it's
and
going
I
to break.
think that was the way I was raised. Like,
Yeah,
there's no such thing as a free lunch.
yeah,
Everybody pays.
yeah.
The question is, are you willing to pay the price? And for joy and for healing and for illumination, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The work is worth it
absolutely,
for sure.
absolutely. And I honor all of you out there who are doing the work. It's not just me and Ona hanging out amongst the greenery. Did
Yeah,
you notice that my back wall is brat green? Did you know that? Did you realize that?
is
I don't
what?
know what brat. That's brat green.
Oh,
That's
is that what that's called?
yeah. It's
Brack?
like spring. Well, that's I guess. Yeah, I called it spring green, but they call it brat green. Yeah.
Yeah,
So don't ask me what that means, but I know it's good.
it's a 4.5. Oh, it is good. It is good. That is the kind of energy you want to see when you walk in somebody's office.
Drone says consistency over perfection. Yes, absolutely. Persistence pays.
Yep,
Persistence pays.
yep. And the blue waves. Yes.
Barbara says Iceland and Italy volcanoes. Yes, that one in Etna was big.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh. Well, I
Here,
don't live in a place close to where those kinds of events happen, but they can. And that could be another thing too. These, weird little earth events, sinkholes and stuff like that, where typically you don't get that. I think all of that is a part of it too.
Ann Hart says, my ex is from Boston. Here's my favorite joke. And of course, because I'm live near Boston, I know this joke, but I will say it. If you lose your khakis in Texas, you lose your pants. When you lose your khakis in Boston, you can't start your car.
Because your keys are in there.
No, because they're khakis. That's how you say it in
Oh,
Boston.
car
Car
keys.
keys are khakis. Yeah.
Yes.
I lost my car. Where'd I pack my car?
Yes. Oh my God, that is like car keys.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh, because you like wear khakis and you keep your keys in your in your pocket. So do I. By the way, the bus passed right by me today. I got out of work 12 hours and I'm like, you know what? It looks like it might rain on the way home. I'll jump on the bus. And I looked at the app. I'm like, oh, I'll wait a minute. And I see it coming. And it just like went right by me. And I'm like, wow, if I had something to throw right now,
Well, aren't you supposed to go like this?
besides my own self in front of you,
I,
okay?
I spent my whole childhood catching buses. You have to do this. You have to hail them. Do
No,
you
you
hail
don't.
them?
You don't have to hail them. They're supposed to stop there. They stop at all the stops. And then
Oh, I
I
don't
just
know.
started
We used
walking.
to have to in Jersey. You have to hail them, otherwise they keep going. Sometimes they keep going anyway.
I
Sometimes the bus would be so full that you'd be and it's always when you were waiting an hour, like when's the bus coming? When's the bus
oh
coming?
no.
then it would be full and it would pass you up and you'd be like, ah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you know,
there
see,
was no
I miss
way.
sometimes I miss Jersey. Sometimes I miss that.
Yeah, I just started walking, so I'm walking the same route as the bus, so it's never, the next one never really caught up to me because it probably did stop at all the stops. So I just walked home this morning. But yeah, I mean, the only way I would have gotten on that bus would have been like on the front of it after I threw myself in front of it this morning. It was like, didn't even see me. Not, I'm like looking, I look people, drivers in the eye now that I'm more pedestrian than anything. When I'm walking giblets, anything, I'm crossing the street. I'm not looking at the car or the plates. I'm looking at the driver in your eye. Do you see me?
Mm,
Or are you on your phone? Are you distracted in some way?
yeah.
If I lock eyes and like you can go or I can go, a lot of times I wave cars on because it's much more difficult being in a vehicle than it is walking. So I'm like, here,
Sharon from Cape Cod. Hi, Sharon. How's the traffic today on the Cape? It was the last weekend. It was awful. There was a big accident. A woman died. It was terrible.
oh no. Is
Yeah.
it that time of year that the vacationers, it's almost school
Oh,
time?
forget it. You can't even get. You can't. I used to live on the Cape, right over the bridge, and on Saturdays I couldn't go anywhere. So I would just make sure I had all my groceries and never leave that. Never get in my car and go anywhere on the weekend. It was like 5 minutes down the road would take you an hour. It was crazy.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
There's no point.
We love the Cape though. What a beautiful. When you come to visit, we're definitely doing a Cape run.
Yes.
We're gonna
Yeah.
go to my favorite P town.
I might not come back from the Cape.
You might go to P town and say, "All right, I'm staying."
I might. I might. We'll see. We'll see.
Right. Oh goodness gracious! New bridges soon. Yeah. Well, I hope so. We have the money now. We've needed those. Those bridges were built in the 30s. And
Yeah.
I was saying in class the other night, I was like, yeah, it's like you have two lanes going onto the Cape, two lanes coming, off the Cape. And the only thing that divides you is a line. There's no barrier, there's no nothing. It's just a line
Yeah.
in the road
Yeah.
that a lot of people don't pay attention to, I want to say. But
And these structures were built when the volume of cars was a lot less than it is now.
yeah,
There's no getting around this fact. If they're going to build a bridge, they may as well build a like high speed air tunnel or whatever because they need to do it for the volume of people that need access to that.
yeah, yeah. Well,
They're
I
doing
guess
that here.
it only took 30 years for the big dig. It should only take, what, 30 years for the bridges? I think it'll be better. I think it'll be better. I think the technology is better. Plus, the big dig was a whole different thing. They had to dig stuff. The bridge, you just have to go over something.
Yeah. Well, the things in the water, they have to, but if that's already there, yeah, I think Pete Buttigieg has been doing a good job, I have to say. We're talking about this as the Jupiter and Mars are in Gemini, like tearing up the road.
Right. Well, we had that Jupiter Mars conjunction, and Ona's like, "Oh, there's a fire outside," and you thought it was a boat fire. It was actually a car fire,
It's a car fire.
which was so like Jupiter conjunct Mars and Gemini.
Yep. Yep. It was right on the drive. It was past a bank of trees, so I thought it was in the water. When I got close, I'm like, oh no, that's on the road and that's exploding.
Yeah.
And Mars and Gemini and Mars and Jupiter just sometimes when you connect these, when you blend these things, it's so literal. It's scary.
Yeah. One
Right?
thing I think we have to keep in mind is that the DNC is Mercury is retrograde.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there
Yes.
could be some glitches with that. There
Yes.
could be some technical, and maybe Uranus will be the technical stuff, perhaps.
The square.
Yeah, just messing up the waves. And of course, that the Russians, somebody mentioned it in the thing, that they're trying to interfere. Everybody's trying to interfere, but
Yeah.
we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
We don't know what kind of cyber issues we have until we have them.
Till
It's those are
after. I mean,
hard things
I'm
to
pretty
divert.
sure last week there was all kinds of cyber issues because
Oh
I
my
was having
God.
all kinds of problems I never had before.
Yeah.
But there, I guess, hopefully there's redundancy, and the people who, I mean, what are we going to do about it, right?
Yeah.
We just got to
Yeah. And
go
it's
with the
also
wave.
it's
Go with
something
the
to get ready for too when there's make sure your things are charged when Mercury's in retrograde. Get in the habit of those kinds of things because you're dependent on this type of technology for your everyday.
right, right.
Now,
You
this is
also,
something
you
that,
also like during these stormy times, you want to have things, but you don't want to, you don't want to have a lot of stuff in the freezer because if the electricity goes off, then
you're
the
eating
food goes
dough.
bad. So you want to have like the dry goods and the things like that, can and stuff like that. I think that's important. And then have water. I mean, water's a big deal. We're lucky we have the spring in Sandwich. We go get 8 gallons of water every 2 weeks. So we
Yeah,
always have drink potable water.
yeah, that is something to think about. Something to get ready for, just in case. Yeah, I think that a lot of these cards that we pulled and other readers too, the swords can represent these kinds of things that are air related, and sometimes those are hard to pin down. But cyber in modern tarot, I think cyber is a consideration
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Especially the sword stuff. When you see the sword stuff, and you had a lot of swords in yours, so
Yes, I
yeah, I
did.
think it's sword stuff.
Or
Oh wow!
the rat's chewing through a cable under McCormick Place or something, and poof. It could be like those, like one little simple things.
Wow! It says, as Barbara says, the Park Fire is the fourth largest fire in California and is 50% contained. I feel so bad for the animals, honestly. I mean, I feel bad for the people too, don't get me wrong. But they
Yeah.
can escape, hopefully. But the animals, where do they
Is this a
go?
man-made fire? Is this a
I don't
man-driven?
I don't know if the park fire was a man. I don't know if they ever really know
Yeah.
these fires. I
Yeah.
remember flying over the country and looking down and seeing these like
Car
columns
fires.
of fire,
Yeah.
in the middle, like all blackness, and then like one little section
Yeah.
of fire.
Farms do that regularly on their it's a way to recarbonize the soil and get rid of pests and stuff like that to do a burn on the South 40.
Yeah.
They do
Well,
that.
the natives in California, they were stopped. They used to do that. They used to have like controlled fires and ceremonial fires, and they stopped them. And after they stopped them, the forest fires got worse
Yeah.
because all the underbrush, like when you work with the underbrush and you do that, because the trees themselves can sustain,
Yeah.
can survive that kind of fire, but it's when it just gets out of control and everything is a tinderbox.
Yeah.
And the West is so dry right now, and the East is so wet. It's so wet here.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
There is a bunch of, and we know that this is where a lot of the viral stuff, when you're in an area that has more moisture, these viral things tend to start up. And there is like a stomach bug out there. I wonder, and I do have my anatomy deck, um, if everybody's going to get the stomach bug at the convention or drinking some bad Malort or something at the bar. Okay. Because it could be they had to evacuate an entire migrant shelter
Wow.
for the stomach flu.
And Ann Duffy says the park fire was man-made, a flaming car driven into a ditch.
Wow. 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 Chico, huh?
She says, my 90-year-old mother-in-law lives
Yeah.
in Chico and is always ready to evacuate. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's like one of the best places for me to live, like that area by Chico.
Yeah.
Like astrologically, I
Yeah.
my best place on the best place in America is the Mendocino National Forest
Yeah.
for me. Which I would, and I was like, oh, I could build a treehouse. I'd love to live there. And then it went on fire, so I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
When I lived in San Francisco, I went up there camping up in Mendocino, and it was scary.
Mhm.
It was scary because there are just cliffs that go right into the ocean, and it is cold air. It is
Sounds
novel
fantastic to me.
kind of
Sounds
like
fantastic.
atmosphere. I mean, it's like a novel. It's so scary. It scared me. It was like it had that sort of haunting feel. The winds made howls. It was,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah,
really kind
a
of cool.
friend of mine was there with her brother. Her brother lives in Marin, and she said we're walking through the forest, and all of a sudden you hear like a big crack, and you
Yeah.
know that it's like a tree is falling somewhere, but you don't know where. So you're like, you just
Yeah.
like, you just stand there petrified, hoping it doesn't fall on you.
Yeah. Oh
Great.
my God. By the time you look up after you hear the crack,
Well, some of those trees are so tall that it takes a while for it to get
how
down.
can you
But
be like even a limb? Like we just had a big
right,
limb fall onto the, there the trees are old. That's going to happen.
yeah,
And that's part of the earth's,
that's right.
ability to recover herself and to carbonate herself and that thing. This man-made thing, this dick that put the car in the ditch, he's a dick.
Yeah, well,
He's a dick. That should not have
well,
happened.
hopefully we will have more awareness around how we affect, and I think we will. I think the Pluto and Sagittarius uh, will will have us, flying right on that stuff.
Yeah.
This is the only home we have. Maybe we can go to Mars, but who would want to? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Apparently it's got some sulfur going on. They found like pure sulfuric whole like chunks.
on Mars.
Mars. It's part of the prima matter, right? Sulfur. So more interesting things about that, right?
Well, there's a thought that Mars had an atmosphere at one point, and as I understand it, I don't know if this is true, but this is what I've heard that the Atlanteans blew up the planet that was between Mars and Jupiter, and that's what created the asteroid belt, and that's what took Mars's atmosphere away. Or that happened, and something else took Mars's atmosphere away. But this is the only place in this solar system where we have an atmosphere where we can breathe the air. So I think we should
Yeah.
take better care.
Yeah.
Take better care. Yeah.
Yeah. We picked Earth. We picked it. So we got to take care of it, right?
That's right. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. There's a song we used to sing in circle. It's the earth is our mother. We must take care of her. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Hey yana hoy yana hey yan yan.
Yes.
Hey yana hoy yana hey yan yan. And then it goes on. So
I like that.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I
So
like that.
what I would suggest to everybody is to be joyful, to dance, to sing, to smile, to look up, to look at the beauty around you. Whatever happens, happens. We're going
Mm.
to move through this with grace and ease.
Document it, you know, create. This is a full moon on Monday. So definitely document things that you're noticing.
Yeah. Well, we've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know about you, but I think there's a peach cobbler waiting for me.
Yeah, I need to eat something today because I have a colonoscopy
Oh, that's right. You got to eat
on
now
Monday.
because you ain't going to be, yeah, you're not going to, that's not the, well,
I
anyway.
did not plan this in a way that I had my moon calendar with me at the time and juggling schedules and that kind of thing. That this colonoscopy falls right on this full moon. And I think it's just going to be a point of hilarity for everybody in the GI lab on Monday.
So there's not, it's not just a full moon in Aquarius. It's going to be the full moon, Ona's full moon day.
It's my full moon day. And then I'll be so hungry, I'm sure I'll get like a burger on the way home or something that because, oh boy,
It'll be good. It'll be
I'll
the,
show you, colon.
be nice to your colon.
I'm planning on it.
It will take care of you.
Jesus.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks for the jokes. Hopefully, we have eased some of your uh, consternation about the DNC. I don't know Ona's consternation about the DNC, but if I lived in Chicago, I think I'd have my hair on fire right now. So we'll all beam some peace, love, and
Yeah,
joy in the direction of Chicago.
yeah, it'll be interesting.
All right, guys, we're gonna sign off. Next week, can we do it on Friday or Saturday? What's
I'm working Friday.
Oh,
It
we'll
might
do
be
another
Saturday.
Saturday. All
Yeah,
right,
it's gonna be one of those. Yeah, I'm working.
next Saturday we'll be back. We'll be on Ona's channel, Ona's Tarot, next Saturday
Yeah. Oh,
live,
and I'm taking notes.
and we'll know what happened.
Yeah,
We'll be talking about what we didn't know this week, next week.
after this full moon and all this stuff. Yeah, I'll
Oh yeah,
definitely, and I'll get some stuff in between too that, like I said, is safe to publish.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Everyone, you guys take care. Don't you worry, everything's gonna be all right. Mm-mm-mm.
That's right.
All
Bye-bye.
right, guys. We love you. Namaste.